In an increasingly fast-paced world filled with uncertainty, the search for clarity and direction becomes a pressing need for many. We live in an era of information overload, where we are bombarded by constant stimuli that paradoxically can leave us more lost than ever. The feeling of being adrift, of not having control over one's own course, is a sentiment shared by countless people who long for a turning point, for a spark that illuminates the path and inspires significant transformations. It is in this scenario that the wisdom of experts in personal development gains special prominence. Brian Tracy, a renowned international author and speaker, has dedicated his career to unlocking the secrets of success and personal fulfillment, offering practical tools and profound insights for those who wish to optimize their potential and achieve their most ambitious goals. This text aims to explore 10 powerful affirmations, selected from the teachings of Brian Tracy, that have the potential to reshape any individual's perspective on life. This is not about magic formulas or empty promises, but rather fundamental principles that, when internalized and practiced consistently, can catalyze lasting changes. The problem many people face is not the lack of desire for a better life, but the absence of a clear map to get there. The difficulty lies in how to translate aspirations into concrete actions and how to maintain motivation in the face of the inevitable obstacles that arise along the way. The proposal here is to offer a practical guide anchored in the experience and knowledge of a master of self-development, so that each reader can begin their own journey of inner transformation. The unique angle of this exploration lies in its direct and focused approach. Instead of getting lost in complex theories, we will dive into affirmations that function as seeds of thought, destined to germinate and flourish into new realities. Its relevance to your experience lies in the fact that everyone, at some point, has felt limited by self-imposed beliefs or by a restricted view of their own capabilities. Perhaps you have wondered if it is truly possible to achieve that distant dream, or if you are doomed to repeat the same patterns of frustration. This series of affirmations aims to break these invisible chains, unleashing the potential that resides in each of us. The stage is set for an intimate and powerful journey of self-discovery. Throughout the following reflections, you will be invited to contemplate truths that at first glance may seem simple, but carry immense transformative power. We will explore how the way we think about ourselves and the world around us directly shapes our experiences and, consequently, our results. The promise is not of instant solutions, but of inspiration for a continuous process of growth and improvement. Are you ready to take the first step toward a more fulfilling and realized life? The 10 affirmations from Brian Tracy that are about to be revealed are your invitation to begin this personal revolution. The power of creative visualization, an often underestimated tool, emerges as an essential pillar in Brian Tracy's methodology. He teaches us that the human mind is a fertile field where vivid images and intense feelings can be cultivated, serving as a powerful catalyst for the manifestation of our desires. The central issue here is not to imagine something distant and unattainable, but to build, with meticulous detail, the future we aspire to, and to feel as if it were already a present reality. This transcends simple positive thinking. It is a sensory immersion in the desired outcome. By invoking the affirmation, "I visualize my future with clarity and determination," we are, in fact, programming our subconscious mind to seek and recognize the opportunities that will lead us to that idealized future. Think of an Olympic athlete. Before crossing the finish line, they have already run that race countless times in their mind, feeling every muscle contract, hearing the crowd, and experiencing the glory of victory. This mental preparation is not a luxury, but an intrinsic necessity to achieve peak performance. Similarly, visualizing your career goal with the clarity of a detailed map, feeling the satisfaction of each achievement, creates an internal script that guides your daily actions. Consequently, the ability to maintain focus on long-term goals is significantly enhanced. When the routine becomes challenging or setbacks arise, like an entrepreneur whose initial project faces unexpected difficulties, the clear mental image of future success acts as a beacon, renewing the energy and resilience needed to overcome obstacles. Instead of succumbing to discouragement, visualization allows for the reframing of challenges as stepping stones toward the larger goal, not as insurmountable barriers. This constant mental projection also has the capacity to shape our attitudes and behaviors, aligning them with the persona we wish to become. Another crucial aspect is the synergy between visualization and self-confidence. By mentally rehearsing success, you build a sense of competence and familiarity with the desired situation. Imagine yourself presenting a complex project with eloquence and confidence to a demanding audience. The more you practice this scene in your mind, with all its sensory and emotional details, the more natural and less intimidating it will become in reality. This mental repetition strengthens the neural connections associated with success, making the real experience more likely and less frightening. Conversely, the absence of this deliberate practice of visualization can lead to a state of stagnation. Without a clearly defined mental destination, it is easy to get carried away by immediate circumstances, prioritizing urgent tasks over those that truly drive progress toward larger goals. A person who aspires to robust financial health but does not spend time visualizing their future with that clarity, whether by imagining the tranquility of a positive balance, the freedom from worrying about bills, or the ability to invest in their dreams, risks getting lost in short-term financial decisions that pull them away from their greater purpose. Therefore, the affirmation, "I visualize my future with clarity and determination," is not just a mantra, it is an invitation to the active creation of reality. It is the act of being the architect of your own destiny, painting the canvas of your dreams with vibrant colors, and then taking the necessary steps to transform that mental masterpiece into a tangible and rewarding experience. The consistent practice of this deep visualization cultivates the inner strength to persist in the face of adversity and the wisdom to identify and seize opportunities that might otherwise go unnoticed. Self-discipline, far from being a restriction, reveals itself as the true key to personal freedom, a central concept in Brian Tracy's teachings that deserves a thorough exploration. It is not about an unshakable willpower that arises spontaneously, but a cultivated skill, a mental muscle that strengthens with daily exercise. The core of the issue lies in understanding that the ability to delay immediate gratification in favor of greater future rewards is the fundamental differentiator between those who achieve their goals and those who remain stagnant. Think of discipline as the bridge that connects your dreams to reality. Without it, your desires remain on one side, and fulfillment remains inaccessible. On the other, by internalizing the affirmation, "I practice self-discipline in all areas of my life," you are committing to a continuous process of making conscious decisions that align your actions with your greater values and goals. This manifests in seemingly small but cumulatively powerful choices, resisting the temptation to procrastinate on an important task, opting for a nutritious meal instead of a quick and unhealthy snack, setting aside time for learning and personal development instead of surrendering to passive entertainment, or starting the day with an action plan instead of passively reacting to events. Each of these choices, however modest it may seem in isolation, builds invaluable positive momentum. Additionally, personal discipline acts as a shield against external dependency. Individuals who cultivate this internal skill do not need constant supervision or external pressure to fulfill their responsibilities. They become self-managing, capable of setting their own deadlines, monitoring their own progress, and staying intrinsically motivated. Consider a writer who aspires to publish a book. Instead of waiting for an editorial deadline or an editor to dictate their pace, they establish a daily word count goal, the discipline to write even when inspiration fails, and a commitment to revising and improving their work. This inherent self-management is the foundation of all sustainable achievement. However, a lack of self-discipline often manifests as a trap of instant gratification. The ease with which one can access entertainment, social media, or other forms of immediate distraction creates a vicious cycle where momentary pleasure replaces long-term progress. Someone who finds themselves perpetually scrolling through news feeds or playing online games instead of dedicating themselves to study, for example, is inadvertently trading the potential for a more prosperous and fulfilling future for an ephemeral and superficial relief. This trade-off, while seeming harmless in the short term, has significant and lasting consequences on one's life trajectory. Conversely, cultivated discipline opens doors to excellence. It allows you to dedicate yourself to mastering a skill, perfecting a craft, or building a solid relationship. Think of a musician who spends countless hours practicing their instrument, not out of obligation, but out of a disciplined commitment to mastery. This rigorous dedication, often solitary and demanding, is what sets them apart from mediocre musicians, allowing them to achieve a level of performance that inspires and moves others. Thus, the affirmation, "I practice self-discipline in all areas of my life," serves as a constant reminder that true freedom, the freedom to choose your destiny and to live a life of purpose and fulfillment, is achieved through the transformative power of self-discipline. Personal responsibility, viewed through the lens of Brian Tracy, transcends the mere acceptance of blame and crystallizes into the ability to be the active agent of transformation in every circumstance. It is about embracing the undeniable truth that regardless of external adversities, the response and the future direction lie intrinsically in our own hands. By internalizing the affirmation, "I take full responsibility for my actions and results," you build a solid foundation for self-confidence and autonomy. This mindset is not about justifying failures or blaming third parties for setbacks, but about recognizing that every choice, every omission, every initiative is a direct reflection of your agency. Consider, for example, a professional who faces a project that does not meet expectations. Instead of attributing the failure to a lack of team support or unfavorable market conditions, an individual who adopts personal responsibility questions their own strategies. Did I plan adequately? Did I communicate my needs clearly? Did I adapt quickly enough to changes? This deep self-analysis, devoid of destructive self-criticism, illuminates the leverage points for future improvements. It is an invitation to constructive reflection, allowing one to draw valuable lessons from every experience, turning every apparent defeat into a springboard for growth. Furthermore, this proactive stance cultivates remarkable resilience. When you consider yourself the master of your own destiny, obstacles cease to be insurmountable threats and become challenges to be overcome. Think of an entrepreneur whose startup faces an unexpected financial crisis. Instead of succumbing to panic or paralysis, they take responsibility for the situation, assess the contributing factors under their influence, and begin to devise a corrective action plan with determination. This attitude is empowering because it recognizes that even in difficult circumstances, the ability to influence the course of events remains. On the other hand, the transference of responsibility, even if subtle, can lead to a cycle of powerlessness. When we unconsciously delegate to others or to circumstances the power to dictate our success or failure, we become mere spectators in our own lives. A student who consistently blames the teacher for low grades, for example, neglects their own responsibility to study diligently, seek clarification, or adapt their learning methods. This externalization of control prevents the development of effective coping strategies and perpetuates a sense of victimhood. Another crucial aspect is that taking responsibility for one's own continuous learning is fundamental. In a constantly evolving world, the affirmation, "I seek knowledge and develop myself continuously," is not a passive invitation to absorb information, but an active commitment to self-improvement. This implies identifying knowledge gaps, anticipating market trends, and proactively investing in the development of new skills. In essence, it is recognizing that learning does not end with formal education, but is a lifelong process that sustains relevance and adaptability in any area of life. The deliberate practice of this pursuit of knowledge adds a layer of control and direction to one's personal journey, allowing one to navigate the complexities of the contemporary landscape with greater confidence. As we contemplate the journey taken up to this point, we realize that the distinct facets of self-transformation, once presented as isolated elements, now intertwine into a cohesive tapestry of meaning. We have seen how the mental image of a desired future, when cultivated with intention and detail, is not merely a daydream, but a primary map that guides navigation through sometimes turbulent waters. The clarity of this inner destination empowers determination, transforming ethereal aspirations into concrete vectors for action. This projection of future excellence, in turn, nourishes the strength that allows us to shape the present, not as slaves to circumstances, but as conscious architects of our own path. We have demonstrated that self-imposed discipline is not a shackle, but rather the leverage that frees us from the chains of inertia and external dependency. Just as a sculptor who, with patience and precision, removes the excess to reveal the latent form in the raw stone, self-discipline chisels our character, refining immediate impulses in favor of a greater, more lasting purpose. This intrinsic ability to manage one's own choices, to prioritize the essential over the superfluous, builds not only the path to success, but the very foundation of self-confidence and authentic freedom. In this ascending context, responsibility emerges not as a burden, but as the ultimate empowerment. It is the recognition that every step, every decision, is a direct reflection of our own agency, regardless of external variables. This proactive mindset transforms obstacles into learning experiences and positions us as the protagonists of our own narratives. Similarly, the relentless pursuit of improvement, an active commitment to expanding knowledge and skills, ensures that we remain adaptable and resilient in the face of the ever-changing tides of the world. By weaving these threads together, clear vision, cultivated discipline, and embraced responsibility, we find an emerging pattern of personal power and direction. Reflecting on this convergence of wisdom, it is imperative to recognize the cumulative effect that these truths have on individual perception and, consequently, on manifested reality. Like a river that, strengthened by countless tributaries, gains force and volume to carve its own bed, the consistent application of these principles generates a transformative momentum that reverberates through all spheres of existence. The interconnection between how we conceive our future, the diligence with which we pursue it, and the ownership we take over our journey creates a powerful synergy, predisposing the individual to a state of continuous and meaningful achievement. As we approach the conclusion of this exploration, it becomes palpable that the foundations for a life of purpose and excellence have been solidified through the understanding and internalization of these fundamental affirmations.